I hear people going, freeze, you know? And I thought I would hear constantly things like, you can't afford a monkey on your back. I never heard anybody say that, really.
Well, first, you know, you have to realize that when I made Annie Hall and Manhattan, New York didn't exist the way I made them in the movies then. I've always put a very romantic cast on New York because I'm not interested. I was never interested in portraying New York, you know, realistically. That never was something that interested me in the slightest. I always wanted to show New York the way I felt about it. The ironic thing about my perceptions of New York is that so much of it comes not from New York, but
Tá sean nua áireach feici agam, na sráidin an nár Afric riamh, na ferganibh le rian an am atá caite le feiceáil ortha, na dína le rian cuid tá scéalta héin in an glórtha agus in an glúiseachtaí, an lorg deireadh de chultúr atá ag dul in éig, béidir. Ach ní bheidh an saol nua seo buan ach an irid, ní bheidh ann ar deireadh ach sra amháin eile is stair na carach.
Here's what happened in New York, and I'm not sure what year it was, but I think it was the early 80s. One day, the pretzels that they sell outside the garden stuff used to be great. The pretzels were great. They were soft, they were delicious, and then one day they were hard, and they've been hard ever since, and sometimes the part of them is soft and the bread tastes terrible. There was a time the pretzels were amazing. You'd get pretzels, and it was amazing. And now they're just bad for like 20 years. That was the day New York changed. The other day was suddenly they stopped selling Spaldings, these little pink balls that we'd sit in the street. Because when I grew up, it was still, you still played stickball, and you still had like a block where people would hang out, and we'd play stickball and off the point, and we had these little pink Spaldings. And then one day the Spaldings were gone, and they got replaced with something called Pensy Pinkies, which not only was the name kind of fruity, but, you know, just the fact that the Spaldings was Spalding, it was called, but they called it Spalding, but they were gone. And those are the two moments that I said New York is, the New York that I loved as a kid was over, you know?
Some people say that 42nd Street and Times Square has been sanitized. They miss seeing the hookers here. Excuse me, you're a tourist, or you visit here, right? I live here in this neighborhood, in Hell's Kitchen, in Times Square, and I'm happy to see that go. Because now there's a place where we can live. All right, so as we become commercial, want to make sure that 42nd Street isn't turned into a strip mall. Give it time. Because let me tell you, as soon as you get used to it being this way, it's going to change again.
I think the city has lost an enormous amount of character. And it saddens me because we're intelligent human beings, and if we can see how things are going, we can also see how we can stop it. And for some reason, nobody wants to stop it. Well, not the majority. It's kind of like, oh, you know, out with the old, in with the new. And the new is hideous. It is so hideous.
Everybody has a different New York, and they're always taking it away from you. You know, and you can't do anything about it. You know, you think, what? They're closing my coffee shop? You know, and you go in and you beg them, please don't close. And then they say, but what can we do? They tripled our rent. And you think, but you're ruining my life. The truth is this. New York is about real estate, and it always has been. It's not about art. It's not about culture. It's not about even, you know, Wall Street, you know, banking. It's about real estate. Tiny island. So the real estate just becomes valuable by the second.
My father was one of the last ones to sell out. He owned a fish market on Mott Street between Grand and Hester. And right in the middle of the block, Louis Fish Market, 131 Mott Street. And he was the last Italian on the block. He was surrounded by Chinese. Now, what kind of a neighborhood is it? It's all these boutique shops, and it's pretty nice, you know. I kind of like it. It's sort of like the melting pot a little bit, you know.
Many people have to move out. They lost job too. They lost a lot of job, and then they cannot afford the standard of the living. They move out. and some American movie now.
Walk around my neighborhood now and I don't hear a New York accent anymore.
This is our roots, this is where we're from, and this is where we're gonna die.
Fecin man dulchan cín lá in í lé. Trag an saoil bhí gachrod éagsúlan seo chanis, sách minic. Fecin gúil aire ag tarlú, agus tá éagsúlacht ag dul in éaganis I gceantar áirithe gon char. Airím uignach dá bhar, agus tá sé níos deacra orm inis má áit nua áireach a amsú. Níl na mar a bhró ada óine nua áireach. Dína chuigean lech leis an saoil, agus a chuigean nearmad de réir a chéile. Ach tá dríocht na linne seo ins na féidirachtaí a bhhainin le gach éon nómad. Bhfuil tuiscint ag mór an agin ar seo ná ríre?
The constant thing about New York is change. That's the only thing that's constant, nothing else here. There's no permanence. There is no respect for age, archaeology, biology, physiology, or anything. Things change, and that is constant. And New York just integrates all of that. And if you're not prepared for that, you're going to moan about the good old days. And those good old days were not so good.
Even a city like London, which is an extremely varied city, ethnically and racially, doesn't have this sense of beginning. You know, you're in New York, you're always about to discover something, and I think sometimes it's your own soul.
Nach díon nua áireach de chuid rún. Fain si réile rudidir be nach dastíon níos mó. Coníonn si an méid a bhfuil gá leis. Is legan úr fíornach mé díam héanaan is, agus mé scara ó cháirde agus muinter. Ceapam gur álaigh an scéal do go leordaín an seo, agus aithríonn siad go deo dá bhar sin. Fiú má ágann siad a rís.
When I got my first job here, when I was sitting in a rehearsal room on 42nd Street, and it was a dismal, drizzly day, and I was looking out at these dirty windows onto 42nd Street, and I just felt very conscious of being very much at home. And I couldn't understand why. I couldn't understand why I felt so at home, why this didn't feel like a strange city, why didn't this feel like an odd place or a different place? Why did I feel completely as if I'd been here all my life?
Nuair a ágann tú de chláán, de cháirde agus gach rud a higann tú, nuair a cheap tú a hig tú, taobh hiordiad. Céir tá fága agad? Céir is féidir brathir? Or tain? Sná chuir thug inimircic, impreachtaí.
He's here almost 10 years. Here. He lived in the Mass Street. Mass Street. Oh, he missed home a lot. He missed home a lot, but he cannot go back. You don't need to know English, you can live here. You can survive. He don't even walk uptown. This guy don't even get out of uptown. Maybe for many years he don't go out uptown. 你有冇去玩下㗎？有冇上去帝國大廈啊，或者 World Trade Center 玩下？好少。It's tours is not a part of life of them. They try to make some money. They try to make few coin. That's for this whole life. Yeah, the whole life just try to make few coin, and that's it.
Aní seo cathair na léachra? Ní lonamsach go ná air a spáile clia. Tá aislingaí agus